Let us start this lecture with a thought process from Mahatma Gandhi. According to him, to forget how to dig the earth and tend the soil is to forget ourselves. It is really aptly said by him that it is important for us to cultivate or do farming ourselves for our own food. And we have seen in the last lecture that how the modern farming has spoiled not only the food, but also the environment and our own health, and also the health of not only the animals, also the other plants. And it is having a very bigger ramification on the entire ecosystems. So, therefore, it is important for us to look at how to overcome the problems with the modern agriculture practices, because we are in deep trouble. So far the food is concerned, so far our life is concerned, so far the whole entire ecosystem is concerned, because of using the chemical fertilizers and also the modern way of cultivations, and we have created unemployment and lot of air pollution, water pollution, and then soil pollution, what not. Now, what are the solution then? How to go about it? Any idea? Because if we will not use the chemicals, chemical fertilizers, pesticide, insecticides, then what will happen? Our production will be going down, and at the same time if we will be using more, then we are spoiling the soil, we are aggravating the problem. So, what are the solution then? So, if you look at, for that reason we need to go back to the ancient agricultural technology with a modern outlook. It is not that we will just copy and paste what our ancestor did and we sustained for years together. We need to also do research on that and find out the ethos behind it and adopt it in the modern time. Therefore, it is important to look at the ancient way of farming. For that, let us look at agriculture is as old as our civilization, and you might be knowing the legendary figure in our Puranic time is Krishna. All of you know? So, Krishna name itself comes from a root word known as Kri, Krisati iti Krishna. That means it is basically who will be, according to me, who might have started the organize or the agriculture. And if you look at little bit and connect this narrative, these are narratives you need to connect. And he was a potentate of the cow rearing the cows, not only for the milk and also this thing. If you do remember that Govardhan Parvat, you remember that story, Govardhan Parvat, that where he was having a fight with the Indra. Indra means the person will be giving the rains. That means the irrigation system he must have started. And if you look at the Balaram was having what? Plow, his brother Balaram. So, you need to connect and see, unless we look at from that narratives in the perspective, we will not get it. So, if you connect all those things, you will find, look, it might be from that period improvised agriculture might have come up, using the cow dung for the as a manure, and the irrigation system, plow and other things. You need to connect it. I am sure that most of you may not have these ideas connecting together, looking different way than the what traditional going on. So, if you look at, there are several small stories will be there also. We will have to can tell us that ours is a agricultural society earlier, and today we must be agriculture society, not an industrial society, the way we are moving towards. Because food is important, and good food is important as well for our sustenance, so also the sustenance of other animals, insects and other things. So, agriculture has been primary productive activity in India, because that is the primary wealth. The rest of the things are secondary wealth, but we are giving more importance on the secondary wealth, which is not the right thing. And evidence from the very early time you can get in particularly Mesolithic time, late Stone Age phase around 8000 BC. BC means before Common Era, and it is more than that it will be, but this is the accepted fact that we are having. There are, if you look at these pictures, these are all basically paddies being taken, and then you look at, there is one instrument here, this person is holding this instrument, you know, and what is that? Can anybody tell me? This one, this portion, right? What is that? This is an instrument for cutting. Okay? So, similarly, if you look at there is another instrument here which is there, and there is another instrument, we will be talking about technology, this is another instrument here. Could you see that? This is another instrument, there is another instrument here. What are those things? These are all earlier days people will be having. So, we need to look at that, and let us see the major aspects of the farming. And if you recall from the history that most of the civilizations across the globe is basically started where? Wherever water is there, river, basin, you know. So, you can think of there is a river here, these are river, you can see this is a boat, and then there is a in between some place where there is some trees, and water is important for your cultivation. So, therefore, water is there means how to take this water, this is your a mechanism by which you can take very easily, because this is a lever mechanism, right. It can ease your work input, am I right? Are you not getting? This is a, this place it will be going up, you know, down and then up in that way, and then you will put this water here, water will come over, and then these are all valves. These are all valves or the gate valves. You can say that gate or controlling valves, controller I can say, and then water can come over here, and beside this of course you can take some material also by hand, maybe some manure, some things, and you will have to also use a plow for cultivations. There is a, you can carry some, collect this material, this is the sowing, I mean like if you look at the processes involved in that. And agriculture, if you look at, as I mentioned earlier, that we will be using a lot of tools for carrying out the farming work. And of course, the plow is one important tool, as I told. So, for our narrative goes, it is the Balaram who might have invented the hull, because he is known as Haldar. Hull means plow. The person who is carrying we can call Haldar. धारण करता है तो उसको हलदर कहते हैं. Balaram, you do know, don't you know that Balaram was having a ayud means weapon as a hull. So, plowing is this thing, and when you talk about plantation, the soil is important, so also the seeds, and then it will be also sowing, and then sowing methodologies we will be discussing about that. Transplantations is very important. Let me ask you a question, what do you understand by the transplantation? And similarly, when you talk about all this process, then we need to also improve the soil by using the manure and fertilizer. So, question arises, what are the differences between manure and fertilizer? That question might be coming to your mind. And we will be using pesticides, insecticides and other things also, because always pest will be there, even in ancient time pest will be there, insect might be there, but today insects are too many because of imbalance in the nature, but at that time it might be there also in ancient time. So, agriculture tools, let us look at some of them like digging stick. So, if you go to the history, you will find we are having evidence of digging stick from let us say Mehrgarh, now in Baluchistan, earlier it was in a part of India, like Chirand in Bihar, if you look at, and Ahar in Rajasthan, and Nevesa in Ahmednagar since Stone Age. I have already discussed Stone Age is a long time before your Indus Valley civilization. And this stick consists of pointed sticks with a sharp edge. For example, if you look at, this is a sharp edge, this one side, this is a sharp edge, is not it? This is a sharp edge. And there might be another, this is a two side, there might be another one here also, there might be various kinds, one can get it, so that it will be easier for to dig. And this is known as a digging stick, and in Sanskrit, in Vedic literature, it is known as the avri. And if you look at this avri is about 1 cubic feet long. 1 cubic means basically 45 centimeter, around that. And distance from the elbow to the finger, if you look at elbow here and to the finger, average, depend upon the height of the person. But in Indian system, you can look at it, will be around 45 centimeter. It can be also 40, that on an average, that is a thing. This is also people use, there is another instrument what is being used, like here, if you look at, this is a stick kind of things, and it is having a crossbar. This is your crossbar. It can be made of stone, but what evidence we got is basically wood. Maybe people might have used stone and then might have used the wood later on, or vice versa. I think stone is, if you look at modern way of looking, people say stone is first and then later on. But my feeling is that maybe first is the wood, or then maybe, I do not know, that is the controversy, but let us say that there is evidence for that. And earlier plows were digging stick decorated with handles, like for example here, these are handles, this is your handles. And plow, we will see, this is the primitive way of plowing, and handles for pushing and pulling the things. And this thing can be used both for the leveling of the land and also for digging the holes. Suppose I want to put something, I will have to dig. So, this is a simple tool what people might have used earlier time. That is another things which is known as hoe, and in local language in Hindi we still calling it as a khurpi. And khurpi, if you look at, there are several kinds. Of course, this can I call it as a khurpi, this one, this instrument, if you look at, what is the purpose? That is we call it as a sickle, right. And this, what purpose it will be used? Can I till it with this? I can, but it will be not that easy, and it is used for cutting the paddies, or sowing, for particularly sowing or weeding. Weeding, you know, is like to remove some unwanted plants, whatever will be coming out. Tilling, of course, it will be little difficult, but there is another one I was thinking to bring and show you, because in my garden this is having, this is basically known as khurpi in UP, this one, even at this moment, this is your khurpi, and this is made of iron, or you call it steel. This will be which steel? Mild steel. This will be made of mild steel, and it is having a sharp edge. This edge is sharp edge, right. And it can be used, I have used myself with this, and this is having an angle. I just, you know, and there is a like this it will be, and then there is a end here, and then you put little, it will act like a lever. with less force, and this designed well. I have done myself, I have used it. It is quite interesting. Very simple tool which you can use in your garden. Even somebody claims that you can also what you call handle the small little medium sized land also for cultivation. So, in the Khurpi, if you look at stone hoe, it is made of stone also, found in Mehergarh and Jatkara in Khajuraho in MP. You might be knowing the Khajuraho is famous for Sun Temple, and Naga and Sadhya hills of Assam. This we got from the archaeological excavations. We have already got this thing. And tool primary is this tool basically used primary for tilling, sowing and weeding, as I have told earlier. As I told, this is a basically sickle which is a multi-purpose tool. It is having a blade, a metal blade, narrow blades, and this portion will be little zigzag kind of things, so that it will be easier to cut, and sometimes it is sharp also. And handle is made of seasoned wood, this is made of wood, right, this is your handle. And also earlier days people are using bones, animal bones, because that is there. But nowadays we are using the wood, and those things are there still today. That is the thing. That means whatever it was there, let us say 6,000–7,000 years ago, and today we are having similar stuff going on, and that is the thing what we are having. And there is another instrument or the tool which is being used is the spade, which there are several evidences, but I could manage to get that thing that it was found in 500 BC. BC means before Common Era, I think 2005 years or back, around 2005 years back from now, in Ujjain, right. And this tool is basically primary for digging. Do you know the shape of this spade? What do you call in Hindi this spade? Any idea? This is known as kodal. So, this will be looking like this is having a handle here, this is made of wood generally, and this is which is connected with that, and this is the iron cutting plate, this plate is made of plates. You might have seen this thing. So, this steel is being used and comprised of a blade and kind of things, and there are several varieties. I will show you another of them which is little modern, maybe it is having the same piece here, this is your sharp, and this is having a kind of a rod which is having a sharp here, that hole. So, this will be when I will use this lower portion, when I will use upper portion. If I say this is lower one or one sided on this example, where I will be using and when I will be using. See, if the soil is very hard, naturally I will have to use this one. Are you getting? This is for hard soil. And once you do, I want to take from one place to another, it is easy. If it is a soft soil or a muddy soil, like not muddy, like what you are having, you already being rained and it is become soft. So, this can be used for soft soil. It is easy, and also with the help of this portion, this blade, you can carry the material from one place to another, you can throw, but with the help of this portion you cannot. So, you can look at it is a very good design one can think of. You are doing two things with the same tool. The plowing is a very important one, right, because we will have to plow the land before cultivation and even after cultivations kind of things. It is very important, as I told, this plow, which was basically according to our narrative, Indian narratives, it was made of designed by the Balaram, we call him Haldar. So, this plow is being joined with this connected, this is your plow, and it will be having a pole which will be connected to this bale or the what you call the ox, 2 oxens, and then it will be tilling the soil or the land. And when you do that, you will get something like a reach here, and this is like a furrow. Then there will be a deep drench, you can say, like a trench, and this is a reach, and it will be helpful. And why you will do this plowing? That is the question what might be coming to your mind. Is it not that I will take the seed and throw, and then it will be germinated and it will be done, and why should I do that? Are you getting this question, right? So, we will be answering this question if you do not know, but think about it later on. And if you look at this furor, what we call in Satapatha Brahmana, like that is from the Veda, they consider this furrow is like the womb in which seed are to be sown. Like in a womb we will have to put a seed for the thing, similarly they consider that. In the Vedic era, people were having understanding what really it is having. Of course, they have written in a very little cryptic way. There is another evidence if you look at the Milinda Pano, that is a dialogue between the king Menandar and the Buddhist monk Nagasena around 100 BC, and who emphasize the importance and the requirements for a successful crop, that is basically well plowed land is essential for successful crop. For getting a bumper crop you need to plow it, that means plow is important. That dialogue is there, and how to do and what are the things. So, there is also Sambarta in Panini. Panini, you know, like who was given the grammar, which is very scientific. Of course, there are several grammar book, but Panini grammar book is known as Ashtadhyayi. That means Ashtadhyayi is written by Panini. He has compiled lot of things, and he has used this term which provides basically plowing to be done one end to another. That means, if there is a land, you will go from one end to another, and twice, and second time in the reverse direction, that will go this way and you will come this way, then only it will be the right one. So, what I am trying to do is basically I am giving evidence that look, it is as old as our civilization that plowing is going on. And there is another book which is known as Krisi Parasar. Even I think 50 years back people were using it religiously. Unfortunately, nowadays nobody knows about this book. But this was there is a local version also there of the local, means if you go to Tamil Nadu it will be having different version, but the most of the things are taken from here, Krisi Parasar and other things, that recommends plowing to be done 5 times in a year. If you are having 2 crops, basically you will do 5 times kind of things. And it is believed that first plowing gives wealth, and the third the desired object what you want, and fifth will give you the rich harvest, which is important, right. So, that is why plowing plays a very important role for that. But very important thing, but plowing, what is being prescribed, that that plowing must be restricted to sama, means 14 angulas, 10 inches around. It should be less than that. And why it is so? Why not more the way the tractor does? If you use a tractor and its machineries for plowing, right, land, tilling the land, then it will be going very deep. Why can't we do the deep? Is it this is the old one, therefore he will be that, you know, their tenants will be not right, am I right? Actually it is not. That means the modern way of tilling is not right. You should not spoil the topsoil. When you do plowing, what is happening? The topsoil will be entering into the next layer of soil, and topsoil is very important for the cultivation. And our ancestors were aware, and they have also given the prescription that you should not go beyond the 10 inches around. in modern, they are talking about angulus. So, that is the thing, whereas the modern people were not aware till recently, when there is a lot of problem, people are finding out why we should not use tractors and then other instruments, plowing instruments devised by the modern people, and we have now seeing that, look, they were knowing, where in your long time back, our ancestors. So, that is very important, but why I did not tell you, okay, I am leaving that for you to think and explore, but as I go along we will discuss. As to the Jataka story, man's prosperity depends on the number of plows being possessed by him. That means more the plow will be, that means more the land he can manage to till. That is the thing one can think of. That means prosperity will be. Prosperity in getting the food, producing the food, not in getting the other things, secondary things, because the farming or the crop, farming or the food is the first primary wealth kind of thing. So, that was being emphasized. That is why our culture, whenever we think ours is basically agricultural based country, that is the reason. And let me just show you that how this is going on plow. Of course, you can look at these videos and see that. Can you see that this is having a bale, and then this is a one kind of a plow which is there, and it is looks to be he is not doing anything very nicely is doing, and he is making this furrow and ridges. If you look at, let me again, like this is making furrow and ridges kind of thing very easily. Of course, let me tell you, it is not the the soil or the land, it is already done earlier, therefore, it looks to be very easy. Okay? You do not think that is that easy and he is just not doing anything, just holding and then going very easily, but it is being already plowed and he is doing second times. So, therefore, it is looks to be easier, and we will be looking at also some parts of that. And let us look at the plow, means how does it look, and the plow you can get in a terracotta, and the sculptures we got it. I mean, like this is the terracotta plow which is made of mud. Are you getting? This terracotta is made of mud, and this mud is being baked, right. This is basically baked mud, made of baked mud. We got this evidence from Banwali in Banwali, Haryana, right, in the place, and which is quite old. And Vedic term for plow is Langala, or some people call it also Sira, but there are two things word being used in Vedas. One is Langala. This Langala is meant for plowing or breaking the ground, but Sira is sowing the kind of sowing plow, you can say. Like suppose I want to have put the seed, and then you will do something so that you will put the seed very easily. And Rig Veda, in Rig Veda, according to Rig Veda, the plow is made of wood with smoothened handle and sharp pointed share, right. So, you might be thinking, what is this? This, if you look at, there is a handle here, this is your handle, and this is a plow, and this is of course the pictorial. Let me show you another pictures. This is basically a figure which is indicating plowing is being done. So, this is the thing is your handle or the grip. This one will be grip or a handle you can call, and this is your share body, and this would be pointed. In Vedic era, the wood was being used. This would be sharp enough to pierce into the ground or the soil. And Atharvaveda refers to plowing drawn by 6 to 8 oxen. This is really very of course difficult to digest, because what we are using may be 2 oxen or the 4 oxen. I have not seen 6 to 8 in my lifetime. Of course, I am not exposed to the rural environment, and most of you might not have seen. Nowadays tractors are being used, And this is, of course, he is saying for hard soil, that means more force is required, that might be the reason. And rig where the passage refers to use of horses for plowing, and that is a very different thing, because rig Vedic or the Vedic people were very fond of horses. So, and at that time they were using for plowing. So, the oxen should be coaxed gently, not to be treated harsh. Today you might be finding that people are very cruel to the animal, and they might be earlier also. That is why they are being asked not to be cruel to them, but to take care of them and gently or coax, so that they will do the work for you. And there are various kinds of plow you can design, you can think of. This is one kind of plow, and there is another kind of plow. If you look at, this is your handle. Okay. Similarly, this is another kind of plow, and this is another kind of various design you can get across the country, but unfortunately nowadays it is very difficult to get plow, because most of people nowadays using the tractors and the tillers, for the tilling the land. Let us say that, as I told, that Vedic era people were using the wood as a plowshare, right? And when did iron plowshare replace the wooden one, that we will see. In pre-Harappan period, something 4000 to 3000 BC, axe made of copper was used for agriculture work, and that is being discussed. And whether it is how did they arrive at that, this is one question is coming to my mind. But however, there are several axes I have shown you, and here you can just have a look at it. And during Harappan time, wood and stone plow were excavated, were also found, out of which the agriculture instrument or the tools, if you look at the 19.2 instrument made of copper. Iron was not really being used in Harappan period. Till now people are not having that evidence. And bronze were used in agricultural work. 88% were axes. Therefore, they are deducting, or they are thinking that axe might be used for the cultivation, because the numbers are more. And 3.4% hoe, I have shown you the hoe, I had shown you varieties of things, and sickles is 4.2%, and 4.2 is plowshare, which is very, very small in percentage. That might be the reason why they are saying that the axe might be used for the cultivation purpose, because Harappan civilization was depending on the agriculture. And 5 types of axes, it can be flat, it can be shoulder, spade, or narrow spade, or long narrow. And this is another one which whether you call it axe or not, but I think we call in Hindi is gaita. This is a flat like this surface, here, and then this will be also the sharp in this side, so that you can use. And this is being used nowadays for making rubles out of concrete, because it is having a very force you can do. And it can be used for also hard, which one? Hard soil or the hard ground it will be used. And this is of course used for the cutting purposes. And then if you look at these 5 type axes were used for the digging purposes, they are found in Chalcolithic of the central India, and also Deccan region, in the Tamil Nadu and then southern part of the portion, and Neolithic and Chalcolithic of South India. And beside this, a lot of Parsu, like we are having a legend known as Parsuram, who was might be the first person to have Parsu, I guess. And Parsu looks like this. Parsu is also used as a weapon for fighting, for a war, that is. And then Khurpi, I have already talked about Khurpi earlier, which is nothing but a hooks, and plowshare were made of copper. In Hode assembly, there are several things they have got it. And in Atharveda, if you look at this volume, this 3 and then 17.3, you can get Langala is described as a pavirvat. Pavira refers to basically sharp edge like Bajra. Bajra, you know what Indra used to use, that is his weapon, is made of very hard steel and which is made of iron. Io Maya means basically iron in ancient time, and fixed at end of the plow for tearing the land. And Panini mentions, Panini means the author of Ashtadhyayi grammar, Sanskrit grammar, and he mentioned about plowshare, which is also known as kusi, made of iron, and in Vedic language is Ayo Bikara. So, that means there is we are getting a lot of evidence that we are having this in ancient time as well. Kokalika Sutta is basically in the Vedic text you can get, this is in Sutta Nipata, is a Buddhist text, refers to phala. Phala is basically being heated and making a sound when deep in water. What is the meaning of that? That is basically you are tempering it and making it hard, the iron, and this process was there in where, if you look at this is something maybe around 200 BC, this is the thing. So, it is not a new thing what we are talking about, it is very old in our country. And Mahabharata and Manusmriti describe plow consists of iron blade and wood, like this is kastam ayo mukham, that means kastam means wood, ayo means iron, mukham means in the front there will be iron. That means it looks to me during the Manu and then Mahabharata that or in the maybe Buddhist period rather, the iron has come into as a plow. That is the evidence what I could get. Of course, it is a debatable thing, but however, if you get something more you can tell me, so that we can have a discussion to find out. It is being accepted iron plow was used around something 1000 to 800 BC, of course, little bit before the Buddha, even Buddha is 575 BC. So, 408 percentage of agriculture assemblies made of contains hoe, sickle, pursue, plowshare from Jakhera region in Himachal Pradesh, because people excavated and they are getting this kind of tools for the agriculture. So, with this I will stop over here, and then we can see that what are the various components of the what we call plow, and then from where we will get the evidence that okay, how to design a plow. Because if today you will go to the farmer, he will say, oh, I do not know, I just do whatever earlier people, but we are having a design. I will be talking about in the next lecture that we are having design which is having related to the a text which is very well known for the agriculture. So, with this I will stop over, we will again discuss about it and look at also various aspects of farming and what we need to do. Thank you very much.